to try and distort the people of Haiti even at that time. There's a man in America who is theologically senile named Reverend Pat Robertson, who had the audacity to say that Haiti had brought this on themselves because they had made a deal with the devil when they defeated the French 200 years ago. Now, the reason that I raised that is because that kind of blatant madness is representative of many that feel that we do not have the right to be free. Before you get to why I think it's important for blacks to engage the system here, why I think it's important what we're doing with President Obama in America, you've got to deal with the premise of whether you agree with human rights and human equality for everyone. If you start from the premise that there's some devil agreement for slaves to become free, then it doesn't take much for you to, from that premise, come to the conclusion that people shouldn't have health care, or that people shouldn't have an economy that is not tilted towards just the rich, or that people should be culturally imitating you because you think you're superior. All of that emanates from a sick theology that thinks that God is on the side of those that think they're supreme, rather than right is that everyone be free. What you're looking at in Haiti is a result of those many nations, including administrations in the U.S., that engaged in an economic policy that made Haiti impoverished. So when you keep hearing them say it's the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere, that is not a condition that they got naturally. This was imposed on them because they were the first nation that openly and successfully rebelled against slavery. When Toussaint Louverture and the Haitians stood up with their dignity and chased the French forces and Napoleon out of Haiti, it was imitated by others in the Americas and even inspired the slaves in the United States. It broke the French to the point where it had to sell Louisiana to the United States. And it became the basis of a policy of punishment by many countries toward Haiti ever since. Many who supported and subsidized some of the most archaic dictatorships that were partners with some of the reactionary forces in America and Europe, that propped them up and allowed them to engage in corruption as long as they were their partners in some neo-colonial phase. Now you're acting as though something was wrong with the Haitians' infrastructure when they never were given the ability to develop their own economy and develop their infrastructure. So as we mobilize around the world for Haiti, we mobilize because there's a debt owed them. Let's not act like we are giving charity. And let's not act like it's just such a shame these people can't help themselves. These people in a quest for freedom did what was right 200 years ago. And we need to do what's right today. It amazes me how sick and hateful people can use religion to go and pursue their policy. It was the Christian right that dominated dominated American politics until very recent. And it's the Christian right that still tries to tear down the beginning of the administration of Barack Obama. And it is that same spirit that you must deal with here in the UK. Make no mistake about it. There are people that feel they have the right to hold you in a place they designate. And for you to not engage in a process of liberation is to cooperate with them putting you in that place. Now, let me quickly say this. Percy Sutton is an American political figure that recently passed. And he told Martin Luther King III now a story that holds true that I will begin my remarks with. He said that he noticed a reporter in American media had been critical of some of the work that we were doing against racial profiling and police brutality. And they said that here I go again with the stuff that they thought that we had gotten over. I heard similar things doing a media tour here the last 2 days with Simon Mooney. Here we go again. Reverend Sharpton, why are you here? Oh, we're in a post-racial generation. Don't you know that race don't matter? Why are you talking like those in the generations ahead? And they go through the litany. We heard that from Robeson. Then it was King. Then it was Andrew Young. Then it was Jesse Jackson. Now it's you and soon it'll be others. And I was reminded, Simon, of this story Percy Sutton told. He said there was a student who was an excellent student. He was one of the best, one of the most learned students in this particular academy. At the end of the school semester, the teacher gave an assignment saying that I want you at the semester end to write an essay on your pet at home. This student who had always gotten A's and A+, sat down and took his time 2 or 3 evenings where he really framed this essay as best he could, describing his pet, describing down to their eyelashes and teeth and everything you could imagine about a pet. Used poetic prose, handed his paper in, and awaited his closing essay of the year to be marked at least an A, if not A+, as every other essay he had written that year. That particular Friday, his instructor came into class and handed out the papers to all of the students, and people collected their papers and saw their grades. To his surprise, his utter shock, he got an F on his paper. He was stunned. How could I get an F? This was the best work I've done. I was more deliberate. I took more time. What is wrong with the teacher? He was so shaken that he waited until after class, waited for the other students to leave. And he asked, could he see the instructor? He wanted to discuss with her why she had failed his paper. She said, sure, you can have a seat. She waited for the last of the other students to leave. He looked at her, he said, why did you fail me? I've never got a failing grade. This is my best work. I put a lot of effort in it. Everything was correct. She says, oh no, it was great, poetic, words used, every punctuation there, grammar correct. It was probably one of your finest works. He said, then why did you fail me? She says, you forget. And she looked at him with a smile. She said, 4 years ago, I've been here many years, 4 years ago, I gave the same assignment. And your brother Eric was in my class. And he wrote an essay very similar to this. And he looked at the teacher and smiled himself this time. He says, oh, now I understand the problem. You think I plagiarized and I copied my brother's work. He said, the problem is not that I'm a plagiarist. The problem is that my brother and I grew up in the same house, and we had the same dog.